friends and neighbors. Welcome in the light, where laughter's the answer and hearts are shining bright. With calloused hands and wits, so razor sharp, let's praise a place where love ignites the spark.
Hello, friends and neighbors, and welcome to Sunnyside. Did you miss me? I mean, maybe you did, maybe you didn't. It's been a couple of weeks. I have been off the podcast realm for 2 weeks. And why? Well, the last one was just before Thanksgiving. We said, Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and kind of told you what the plans were. The family came up, and it was a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. Something to be very, very thankful for. And, of course, it was our first Thanksgiving without my father-in-law, Dennis Burkholder. And so that played into our family experience as a Thanksgiving once again. And I've been part of this family experience for Thanksgiving for about 22 years. And, so it was a great Thanksgiving, but it was also not without, missing Dennis at the table. And so we took just a little bit of time off between now and the last couple of weeks, and we've been very busy. In that time frame, many, many things have happened, as you might imagine, around here at Sunnyside. And one of those things included, of course, my son Jack, who is son number 3, ended his football season, and then, of course, they're off. As soon as Thanksgiving comes around, so as of the last time they've been off, he's been off for a couple of weeks. Waldorf University has a unique, they start early in August as a school, and then they end just before Thanksgiving, and then they don't go back until the middle of January. And so he has been my number one helper here at Sunnyside, which is something that he expressed an interest in, this farming experiment that we're doing here at Sunnyside Farms, which as a farm has been around since 1914, but it has changed hands, I guess technically 3 times, because it was started by Jasper Thompson, who is not related to our Thompson side of the family, then went to my grandpa, Terry, and now I have it. And so, as you know, we have been... we started the cattle process. I've talked about that. I started with raising hay. Everything that I do is kind of a long-term plan. Like I can't have cows without having hay, so I'm going to establish a hay field, and then I'll sell that hay, and then I'll know what I'm doing, and then I'll continue on and continue on. And of course, this summer we picked up 10 steers as we learn how to raise cattle, and that is going just swimmingly, to be honest with you. The cows are very pampered, I would have to say. They get to go out into the little paddock that I made for them, and they love to go out and frolic like cattle do. And these boys are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And my dad didn't believe me when I said that they should just be able to walk from this lot over to the paddock, and then they should just walk back in. And if I just do that nearly every day, it becomes something that they look forward to. And I took over for my dad. He stopped raising cattle last year, and we started this year. And so far, it has worked. It has worked. They do go out into their paddock. They look forward to it, and they kick their heels, and they go out and about. And even in the snow, in the cold weather, as long as it's not wicked cold and terrible for them, then they prefer to stay in their shelter, which is heavily bedded down with nice new corn husk bales, and they seem to be happy in their situation. And so Jack has been helping me with the cattle, and he has also been helping me build this hen holla, so to speak, this Norwegian stave church design 3-story hen house that we built atop the old well room on a portion of our property. And I admit I expected to have this done a couple of months ago, but because of all of the things that happened this summer, including the RAGBRAI experience, where I was lending a lot of my time to preparing for 20,000 people to visit our small town on bicycles and making sure they had places to camp, I'm still working on it. Let's put it that way. So the second story is up. We'll complete the third story and then shingle and side our way down as the week continues, and hopefully we'll have it done by Christmas. And these very pampered hens that I have that produce about, 15, 16 eggs a day. There's only 18 of them. There's only 18 hens. I started with 20. One died as a chick. I guess that happens. I don't know what happened, but within just a couple of days, that one didn't make it. And then there was 19. And then there was 19, and I pulled them around the yard. When I got back from Ireland, I built them what's called a chicken tractor. My version of a chicken tractor is probably overbuilt, like many of the things that I build. And I'd pull them every day. I'd go, check their water and feed them, and then move them 10 or 15 feet, and then, with a tractor, and just keep moving them. And one time when we had to get started early and I had to go out, and it was dark, I didn't realize I don't know what happened, but I ran right over, just pulled that chicken tractor right over one of our hens, and that was the end. That was the end of that hen. And into the burn pit she went. So now we have 18 hens, and they produce about, each of them, about 20 eggs a month. So we've just got lots of eggs. And of course we have these cool little designed cartons that are unique to Sunnyside to some degree, and they've got our Sunnyside Farms label on them. And you know what we've been doing with them, because we're really into the cash farming business with 18 hens, is we've just been giving them away. We give them away to Church Bazaar. We've given them to the football players for Waldorf University. We've given them to friends, and now we're kind of in this mode of, at some point, I suppose, maybe we'll include them in our beef packets, which is coming up shortly. Talking about these pampered steers. Bottom, they were about, each of them over, just over 500 pounds, and now they're about 1,000 pounds, and they continue to gain. So I would say that by the end of February through March, you will have the ability to online order your quarter or half of quality raised, beautiful, pampered steers. You can order a quarter, you can order half, you can order a whole steer if you want. And we'll get into that in another episode as that approaches and as the website for Sunnyside Farms comes online. So this whole experiment for the last few years since I retired in 2021 is coming to fruition, and it continues to develop and grow. One of the things that we got to do this week, and we took a little bit of a break from the farming aspect, is my son Jack and I went up to Owatonna, Minnesota, and because we purchased some land that includes a 4-acre pond and then another pond beside it that is in development, we decided, and it has fish in it, that because we stocked some minnows in that, the people that stocked the fish and will continue to stock the fish for us said, you should try to fish it out. And so some of his friends came over, as they have done for years actually, and fished that particular pond. It's just now that we just happen to own it now, whereas before they were Technically, I suppose they might have been trespassing, but we now own it, and so we needed a shelter, and we could build one or we could buy one, and we just bought one. We bought just a tent one, nothing, not an ice castle or anything crazy like that. It's too small of a pond to deal with that nonsense, and I'm not driving my vehicle. I don't care how thick the ice is. Like, that's just not happening. So Jack and I spent a day going over, really, really selecting the correct ice shelter for us. And we came back with an Otter model, which is a 3-person model. It flips up and down into a sled, which we can then slide out there and use. And so we're having fun, father, son, and all of that. Speaking of father, son, the youngest son this past weekend on Friday had a fantastic game and got his first recorded dunk. Yes, he can dunk the basketball, and he did it. And it was very exciting. And we knew he could do it. We have seen him do it. We've seen him do it here. We've seen him do it other places, but he had not done it yet in a game. And so he did that. He scored, I think he had like 8 points. He had many steals, and he also, many assists and so on and so forth. So he just had a great game, and that was fun to watch him as he is now in his junior year in high school, and he is our 4th and final son, and with us here, and we're just having that time together. So the last couple of weeks since Thanksgiving have kind of been very family-oriented, very farm-oriented, and working towards, I guess, the next thing, which is Christmas, which is coming up. And, of course, it's coming up very quickly. And so we're looking forward to that. And I will be running some additional episodes, which will include, once again, the Christmas Eve show that we do, which is the Christmas Eve Miracle. Well, fortunately, that one's already in the can. We recorded that last year, and I think it's a good episode, so we will bring that back. We are in the process of creating the Bible in a Year again, so it will be its own podcast. It's the same things that if you listened to it last year when it was on the Sunnyside of Life, and it was an everyday thing. It will still be an everyday thing, but it will be its own podcast. I did learn that if it's not separated, it gets confusing because you have an hour-long, Sunnyside of Life podcast on Mondays, and then there's a 15-minute, Bible in a Year, which is a separate bonus episode, and then Tuesday through Sunday, you have all of these bonus episodes, and now all those bonus episodes, 365 of them, become the Bible in a Year. And that way, it's all, a one-time thing, and it's just out there, and you can listen to it year after year after year and continue to learn the Word of God. And I'm so thankful that I had the opportunity to record that last year. It really made an impact on my life. And if you listen to it, maybe it made an impact on yours as well. Of course, when you read the Bible, it makes you pretty familiar with the Bible. And each time that you continue to read it or listen to it, I guess this would be technically an audio book at this point, you will continue to learn and pick out new things. And of course, as our life happens, you always, whatever it is that you're in at that moment, sometimes what it is that is written that day or read that day, and you hear it, might strike you in such a way that causes you to understand something that you previously hadn't understood before, which that's how it worked for me and continues to work. And so I wanted to continue that process and share it with you. It doesn't cost anything to listen to the Bible every day. And if you don't mind listening to me mispronouncing words, which I know that I did, and of course I recorded it over the course of a year, I know for a fact that I said things one way in one part and said things differently in another part. I tried to research the names of places and that type of thing, and I think I got a lot of them right, but then I also know that I got a lot of it wrong. But that is also part of studying the Bible. I think that we get a lot of it right, and then we have a tendency to get a lot of things wrong. And so we continue to grow here at Sunnyside and continue to grow together as an audience. And I'm part of that. I'm just as much a student as you are. And what else have we been working on? Well, we'll come back to the discussion of the Bible, because that is a topic for the day, because I have to tell you the rest of the things that transpired over the weekend. But I've also been preparing for Vinyl Fest 5. Now, Vinyl Fest 5 is something that's going to happen in January. As you know, if you've been listening to the show for a while, you know that I will sing for my friend Donovan Johnson, world-class pianist. He's performed everywhere, including Carnegie Hall. He's toured Europe. He's played the Grand Ole Opry. He was in Omaha for over 20 years. He's been in bands all over the place. He had his own Pandora station. He's a music transcription. He just is an amazing musician, and he was one of our first guests on the Sunny Side of Life, and he continues to grow and develop his programs. And since he moved back home to our town here in Iowa, he has taken advantage of our amazing facility at the Bowman Fine Arts Center and has done 4 shows. I was in 3 of the previous 4. I wasn't in the last show, which was the 1980s. I was in the 1950s, the 1960s, and the 1970s, and I was not in the 1980s show. But I will be in the next show, which is coming up here in January, and that is going to be Johnny Cash. It's going to be the Johnny Cash Show. We've talked a little bit about it on this program before. That is coming up here quickly in about a month on the 17th of January, which is a Saturday night, the Bowman Fine Arts Center. You'll be able to buy tickets, not yet, but soon. I don't know if they'll post this week or after Christmas or when, but you will be able to go to the Bowman Fine Arts Center website and buy tickets to Vinyl Fest, the Johnny Cash Show, which will be on the 17th of January. And if you don't mind listening to me sing and narrate songs and stories, both about Johnny Cash and June Carter Cash, and about my experience with them, then you're going to love this show, because it's a great one. We've got 28 songs planned. It'll be probably just under 2 hours, or right around the 2-hour mark. So it'll be a full show with a nice intermission between sets, not too long, just right. A couple of videos that'll help tell the stories, but not too long, and again, just right. So we're really working to make the Johnny Cash Show very special for you. If you're able to come to the show, it's just one night only, and we're not taking it on the road, friends. I like singing, but that's not my gig. I've got a farm to run. I've got other things to do and other organizations to support. But I really do love Johnny Cash, and I really am looking forward to this show. And tickets are very reasonably priced. It'll be a great night. So stay tuned for that. We'll have Donovan on the show once the new year has arrived, and a couple of the other guys that will be in the band and have been in the other shows and will be in this next one, the Johnny Cash Show. We'll have them coming up too. So if you like things like Folsom Prison, The Boy Named Sue, Ghost Riders in the Sky, Sunday Morning Coming Down, Jackson, we've got Liz is coming in. She's going to sing again. Liz May, if you've seen her or know who that is, she's an educator in the Garner Hayfield School District, and just is a phenomenal singer. So she's going to be our June Carter Cash. She's going to sing some songs. Of course, there's duets with me, and then even the Highwaymen might appear. I'm pretty sure that they will. That was important to me, and I know Donovan likes it too. So continuing to learn all of the words and making sure that they are right, so that you will have a great show and a great time. Not an impersonation of Johnny Cash, but it is a show that is meant to reminisce about Johnny Cash. I'll sing the songs as much like Johnny Cash as I can, but nobody can be Johnny Cash. There was only one Johnny Cash, and so I've learned that maybe Johnny wasn't the greatest singer in the world. He was a good singer. He was certainly a songwriter and a good musician, but he just had this character and this clout which came with him, and that is the fun part of it. So we're looking forward to presenting that show for you, and that is also what we've been working on the last couple of weeks and continue to work on, as with everything else that we are doing. And the other thing that we've been working on as a family, and I had to say primarily it has been my wife Heidi has been preparing for this baby shower, which we did this weekend. And that means that our oldest boy, Tate, is going to be a dad, and he and his wife, Miranda, our daughter-in-law, are going to have a son, and we're very excited, and we're looking forward to it, and they want, of course, have a baby shower, and so it was truly an effort of the Heidis, in this case, both actually step-parents, if you want to look at it like that. Miranda's stepmom, Heidi, and my Heidi, which is Tate's stepmom, put this all together, and then came in from different parts of the country to Kansas City, Missouri, and created this wonderful 2-3 hour event where our families were able to get together and friends, and you know what you do at a baby shower. I guess you give gifts, baby gifts. And so we did. And that was well decorated, and there were games, and we had little wooden blocks, that we could decorate and color, and we colored them with markers. So, my impression is that the baby is going to play with the blocks and also try to eat them. So there's a good chance that there's going to be a lot of ink in future baby Thompson's mouth. So I'm going to be a grandpa. And I knew it was going to happen at some point, and I'm looking forward to it. It's exciting. We're very excited about the whole thing. For those of you that are already grandparents, you probably are thinking, you have no idea how great this is going to be, or you have no idea what you're in for. But I do know this, raising 4 boys, I do know that it's not the same thing. So we're excited, and we drove down we had a little caravan of 2 vehicles, 8 of us, 4 in each vehicle, bringing all of the stuff that we needed to make this baby shower happen. We left on Saturday morning at 7:30, and at about 8 o'clock in the morning, it started snowing and blowing, and didn't stop until we were about 50 miles north of Kansas City. So a 5-hour road trip turned into more like a 6.5, 7-hour road trip. And we did it. We made it. There were times where we really couldn't see the road very well driving down the interstate. But we did make it, and we were confident that the weather was going to clear up, and surely enough, it did, just north of Kansas City, about 40 or 50 miles. And so it was harrowing. It was a long day. We started out early. I had to get up earlier than, I get up early anyway, but I had to get up and do the chores a little earlier. The cows were surprised to see me at that time of the morning. And then we were ready to go, and off we went. And we got down there, and we got everything set up. And there was this long table in the middle, and there was a TV playing, some nice music. And we had a balloon lady come in, and she did this fantastic balloon arch. We had the arch. She brought the balloons, and she put it all together, which we then, used them for whatever it was, 2-3 hours. And then we got to pop them all because what do you do with balloons? We're not taking them back to the hotel. And there was cookies, and they were delicious, and we had coffee. My assignment was to put the balloon arch together, which I did, and then a couple of other things getting ready, and then I had to go around the corner and get coffee, and so we had ordered coffee in advance, so we had like 4 gallons of coffee, and they had forgotten that that order had been placed, so it hadn't been made yet. But fortunately, it doesn't take that long apparently to brew 4 gallons of coffee in Kansas City, and they felt so bad they just gave it to us for free. So they're like, "Can you just wait 15 minutes? We miscommunicated. we'll give it to you for free. And I'm like, I can wait like half hour if you it's going to be free. That's one less cost. And so we did. We got the coffee. It was good. Look, I'm Norwegian, but I don't drink that much. I don't drink coffee in the afternoon. And a lot of people don't drink coffee actually in the afternoon, even though the cookies go with the coffee very well. I will tell you, there was a lot of coffee that we just right down the drain, and when it was all over. And the only reason is because who drinks coffee in the afternoon? I did. I drank 4 cups of coffee in the afternoon, and that's a lot. And I was up, which is good because we had more to do, and that's what we're going to talk about, I promise, in just a second here. But it was free, so yeah, it's free. Throw it down the sink if I guess it everybody didn't drink it, but everybody had coffee. It was fine, and then we had a lot left over, and then maybe a couple gallons. Down the drain it went, and then we had to be out of there at a certain time because we rented a space and we did. We got out of there and we met our time hack. Now, that was the first baby shower that I'd ever been to in my life, unless I was at my own baby shower when I was just a wee baby. My impression of what baby shower, so I'd never been to one. I had no idea. And it had been a long time since Heidi'd been to one, and a long time since my mother-in-law had been to one, and probably others too. Baby showers are not just in the church basement anymore, my friends. Apparently, baby showers are an event. Quite an event. And so that's what we had. We had quite an event. And it wasn't in a church basement. And of course, I'd never been to one. I have 4 boys. I know that they had baby showers. I wasn't at them. And I don't think that they hold me to blame for that. All of the things as a dad that they could hold me to blame for, I don't think that is one of them. But yeah, so that was an experience for me as well. Of course, our son Tate was there, and he was. They would sit together, and then they opened all the gifts, and it's fun, to see what everybody gives, and it is pretty cool to see the little baby clothes, and you get excited about what's the little baby going to look like in this, and then the little toys, and then there's diaper things, and then there's things I don't even understand because raising 4 boys that are now the youngest is about to be 17. It's been a while, So how I did it when they were babies is probably not how things are done necessarily anymore. And the accoutrement that come along with babies has certainly changed. But the idea is still the same. You got to change diapers. You got to keep them happy. You got to keep them warm. You got to take care of them. You got to show them love. And what Heidi and I have noticed as we've found out that we're going to be grandparents, and we're very excited about it, and we're like, now you're looking at other people's kids and their little kids, and you're like, oh, that's exciting. Look at those little kids. And of course, the parents are stressed out. They're trying to get them through the stores, or they're getting them through the different things that they have to do, and they're talking to them and all of these things. But now I'm, experiencing that about to be a grandparent thing where you're like noticing other people with their kids, and you're going, oh, aren't they cute? Oh, it's precious. That time will go by quickly. And it does. I remember them all as babies when they couldn't walk and they weren't crawling yet, and you had to feed them and change the diaper, and they'd cry they'd have their, up at night and all of the things. But man, it just is fleeting. It just goes away quick. And so we are just ecstatic, as you can probably imagine. So we were in Kansas City. And we were at this baby shower, and they were, Tate and Miranda were sitting there right in front of course, appropriately, the balloon arch, which had a cool sign on it. And I think it was "Baby, It's Cold Outside," it's because it was. And then they're facing us, and we're at a long table, the whole group, and we're watching them. But then behind us is this, it's like a storefront window. It's actually called The Space, and it's next to the bakery that made the cookies, and they were delicious. And so people will be walking by, and they're doing their Christmas shopping, and this is 5:00 at night. They're walking by, and I have no idea what they're seeing. I'm sure they're looking in the window, and they're like, here they are, we're all looking at them and they're opening gifts for a baby shower. So, I guess it's entertainment maybe for the folks in that part of Kansas City for that particular time. And I never turned around, so I don't know if there was a lot of people stopping and seeing what we got them or not. But that was part of it. So it was all just this kind of surreal experience of being at a baby shower as a 50-year-old man, the first time ever, and being actually with other people that this was their first baby shower besides the ladies. And so, Andy, the other grandpa, they were all watching this happen, and it was something. It was amazing. We're anticipating something phenomenal, the arrival of the next generation. Can't wait. But then we tore everything down, threw the coffee away that we didn't use. Then we hurried over and checked into the hotel, our group of 8. And then Tanner was there, our son Tanner, and of course Kate. They had flown in from Milwaukee, and they were there, and they stayed at the same hotel. But they went back and hung out with Tate and Miranda and the group. And we, the 8 of us, we had another event that Heidi had scheduled in Leawood, Kansas. So we attend the United Methodist Church in our town, which is not the biggest church in town, and it certainly isn't the biggest United Methodist Church in the country, but Church of the Resurrection in Leawood, Kansas, which is about 25 minutes away from downtown Chicago, where we were. Kansas City. Sorry, they are the largest Methodist church in America, and I've talked about them before. They're famous for a phenomenal stained glass window that they have, and I think they have 9 locations throughout the Kansas City area. They have, 25,000 members. It's a lot of people that can go to this church. Their campus is enormous. Their parking lot acreage is tremendous. They're constantly expanding and building. I think that they have some seminary type things that they actually accomplish for the United Methodist Church. Their head pastor is amazing, and he does a great job. I like the way that he delivers a message. We've been there for Easter. We've been there for others. When we go to visit Kansas City, we go to this. It's a mega church. I don't know what else to tell you. It's a mega church, especially if you're from a small town in Iowa. Church of the Resurrection. Just phenomenal. Amazing. Beautiful. And of course, with that many members, you have an enormous choir, and you have a full orchestra, and you have talented musicians, and you have professional musicians, and you have semi-professionals who could be professional probably, and you have dancers and just talent all over the place. And then, of course, just lots of people. This is a church that is so big that they can go to the Kansas City Royals and they can have a day at one of their ball games because there's 25,000 of them. I don't know if that fills I don't know what the Royal Stadium holds, maybe 50,000, but like they can fill half of it. It is ridiculous. It's crazy how big this, and it didn't start that way. I mean, it started 30, 40 years ago in a small storefront church planting for the United Methodist Church, and it's grown into this phenomenal, campus, and it is something. It is something to see. So, like I said, we've been there many times when we visit Kansas City, and we're not visiting Kansas City just because, we love Kansas City. We're visiting Kansas City because we love Tate and Miranda. And so that's why we're there. And we were there for Easter. We'd been there for Easter in the past. This year we were there for Easter as well. And of course, just before Easter was when my father-in-law Dennis went into the hospital initially. So what I noticed So it was very poignant. And my mother-in-law had not been to the Church of the Resurrection. We brought my sister-in-law, my niece, our sons, Jack and Colin were there, Jack's girlfriend Jalen, and of course Heidi and I. And they'd been to the Church of the Resurrection before, but we were there, and we had been there for Easter. And I noticed at Easter this year that the production value of their Easter service was at a different level than it was when we went there a few years ago. And this is the subject matter of today's conversation, now that we're half hour into this show. I don't even know what I'm going to call it. I'm just going to share my observations. Starting with Easter, the service was excellent. Like I said, their talent in a church that big and that professional is, and with that much money, I mean, it's phenomenal what they can do. And it is Easter. It is the Church of the Resurrection, and it is Resurrection Sunday. So it's the highest holy day of the Christian faith. And it was instructional. If you're not familiar with the story of the resurrection, it was instructional, and it was artistic, and it was well-intentioned, and it was beautiful, and it was professional, and it was too much. It was too much. It was too much for me. That was Easter. I left Easter service thinking, well, phenomenal choir, 125 people in their choir, a full orchestra, probably another 50 people in there. I don't know how many people are in their orchestra. They've got all of the things, all of the trappings, the microphones, the TV cameras, so that you can. It's such a big auditorium. I think they can put 5,000-6,000 people in there. Like you see, I mean, you have to have. It's like being at a stadium concert to some degree, and they're very respectful, and they do. Obviously, they read liturgy, and then they sing the songs that you'd expect to sing, and it is beautiful music, and it is people that love being there and they want to be there, and it is 100%. Good, because it's a celebration of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. But it was a lot. It was a lot. It was maybe too much, like I said, for me, because it was, I don't know, so produced. That's what it is. It was so produced. There was a set. There was the rolling away of the stone. All of these things did happen. As a Christian, I believe that this all occurred, that Jesus rose from the dead, that the stone was rolled away, and that Christ was absent from the tomb. He had risen again and appeared later to his disciples, and for 40 days did all of it. It was amazing. All of this is part of our Christian heritage. And it's all true, and it has been presented dramatically for centuries. It was the Catholics originally just they would find a way to communicate to the illiterate masses using short little skits to explain what was occurring, and that's why you have bas relief, and you have paintings, and you have images, and that help us understand the key elements, or what have been determined to be the key elements of the entire history of the faith of Christianity, to include the Old Testament, obviously, and all of these things are necessary, because relaying those stories and building that culture, particularly amongst the Gentiles, the non-Hebrew people, the nations, is critical. That's how the word of the gospel, the good news, has been shared. So I'm not opposed to drama or theatrics. And that I have directed shows, I've written shows, I've I continue to participate in shows. I'm singing in the Vinyl Fest 5 with the Johnny Cash show. I appreciate lights and sound and quality and just good movement and flow and organization and professionalism, and I just admire all of that. I love good writing. I love good songs, good music, well-produced everything. I do love that as a production. And to me, this is where my worlds are colliding a little bit as I get close to I'll be turning 51 this week. Won't tell you what day, but I'll be 51 this week. And nearing the 51st year of my life, my worlds are colliding. And I'm needing something much, much, much simpler. It seems to me throughout my life, the best decisions that I have made seem to hearken to the similar words of Robert Frost. When two paths divide and diverge in the woods, I chose the one less chosen by. I feel like the less chosen by path has typically been, for me anyway, the right way. I think that Christianity is true Christianity is the path less chosen by. And I'm not sure that what's happening and has been happening for a long time, perhaps since the beginning of whenever you want to pinpoint that, in maybe the 16th century or perhaps earlier in Protestantism, or maybe even earlier than that into the 13th century, between Roman Catholicism and Eastern Orthodoxy. I mean, the divergence, the divides in the church that continue to this day to happen, and is almost celebrated. That, oh, good, now we can divide again. I think that there is I don't know if it's the road to apostasy. I don't know what it is, but something is not sitting right with me. The production value may be required. I don't think it is, but I can be wrong, I guess. Maybe then there's a lot of people that are professional Christians. I don't know if that's the right terminology, but they seem to be, professional at being Christian, seem to be directing, particularly in Protestantism, they seem to be really focused on programs and production value. And I love production value. I don't want to be a part of a secular show, that is not well produced. If I don't know the lyrics, if I can't get the lyrics right, if I can't get something right in other shows, and including the Johnny Cash show coming up, if I cannot get it right, I'm my harshest critic. I'll tell Donovan, I'm like, we got to cut this. It's not good enough. And I theatrics and set design and lighting and sound and special effects. I love all of that. And you know that I love making up my little AI tunes, and I love writing my little scripts and my little skits. So if you've been listening to the show, you know that I appreciate all of this. This is why my worlds are colliding, but I don't want that in the church. And so when we went to this show, and that's what it wasn't worship. It was a show at the Church of the Resurrection on Saturday night, which we paid for. You got to buy tickets. It's a ticketed event, my friends. And no, they weren't very they weren't very crazy about, like, they didn't like scan your tickets or anything. You got your tickets on your phone, and we had them. We had 8 tickets. They're $45 a piece. And they said, if you couldn't afford the tickets, call them. And then they didn't check the tickets anyway, so I don't even know how crazy they were about, the tickets. The program for this show, which is called Christmas at Resurrection, Let Heaven and Nature Sing, 2025, is very nice. It's a very nice program. I have it here in my hands, and they've got. I mean, it's just like you'd expect to see at a show. It's not a playbill, like on Broadway, but it's not a bulletin either. It's a show program, and it's got who your executive producer is. There's an executive producer in the story of the Nativity. And he's also the conductor. And then there's the orchestra conductor. And then there's a youth and children's choir director. And there's assistant children's choir director and a stage director, production assistant, costume, on and on and on and on and on. Dancers. They have dancers. I'm not opposed to dancing. Like, even though I have some Baptist background, I'm not opposed to dancing. David danced and celebrated. I get the value and the art of dance. I just think it's weird. And they're in everything, which is interesting and different. They had drummers. They were fantastic. They did the Little Drummer Boy, and it was production value on the Little Drummer Boy was phenomenal. Look, these guys do a great job. This is not a bad show, but it is a show. And they also had puppets. I mean, I'm sitting next to my son, Jack, and Jack is very straightforward. I think he should have been born in 1920 because he's like, how much, see, this is why people don't like megachurches. How much did that camel cost? It was a camel. There's a dude walking inside a camel, and he's like moving all 4 legs. It was a cool puppet. And there was a dude leading the camel, and he controlled the head. I don't know if they had to buy it or they had to rent it, or I don't know. There's a big market for camel rentals. They had that in this show. And I'm not even making fun of it. It's a cool effect. Like if I was directing a show at the Bowman, I would like that because it's a show. It's a secular show. And then, of course, they had some actors, that said lines and sang songs. Obviously, you have Mary and Joseph, and the baby Jesus was real baby Jesus. And it made me think of a Christmas story. I'm sorry, the best Christmas pageant ever. Like they had 3 ladies that had their fresh-born babies available, and they used them interchangeably as needed as baby Jesus, because you can't have crying baby Jesus, because according to the song Away in the Manger, he didn't make any sound. He was the perfect baby. It's not in the Bible, but everything was kind of based on popular culture version of what Christianity and Christmas is, which is where I'm getting not angry, but just a little disappointed with where we're at with Protestantism. This is an amazing show. And if I was showing it at the Bowman Fine Arts Center, or if I was showing it, I guess, at the theater that is Church of the Resurrection, which is beautiful and magnificent, $45 a ticket is very reasonable. They have a 125-person choir. They have a full orchestra. They have 2 hours. It's a 2-hour plus show. The intermission was a little long, like 30 minutes. That's too long for an intermission. Like I said, I already admire their pastor. Like I'm not discounting his. I'm not even discounting the faith. I don't have the ability to discount anybody's faith that's involved with this show. One of the they had like 3 or 4 narrators. They were all excellent, and it was just it's a production. It's not worship. That's my issue with the show, is that, and then there was like things that, all right, there's 3 wise men. Were they 3? Were they 3 kings? Or was that just the song? The song is We 3 Kings. So we have 3 dudes that were dressed fabulously with entourages. They came in from 3 different entrances, and it was quite a show. And they had, obviously, symbolic looking presents of gold, frankincense, and myrrh, which was all appropriate according to, well, that was in the Bible. They bring these gifts. The problem is, this is a church. It's the church of the resurrection. They're telling the story of the Christmas story and the nativity, which of course, and they start with the appearance of, Gabriel making the announcement of, to Mary. That's not where they start. They actually start with weird, like the first act I like secularism. I like secular Christmas music. I love Christmas music. I'm not a Grinch when it comes to Christmas music. I just don't think that secular Christmas music belongs in the sanctuary. I'm old-fashioned that way. So they start out with this weird Christmas of the Animals thing. It's going to be the Kansas City Zoo. I don't get it. The holiday season. We Need a Little Christmas. I do love that song. I do love We Need a Little Christmas. I mean, who doesn't love that? I just don't need it in the sanctuary. And then the Christmas song, by Mel Torme. Chestnuts roasting on an open in church. I don't get it. And then they reprised We Need a Little Christmas. And then this song, Grown Up Christmas List, is a really cool song. The soloist did a great job. But it's secular, And then the next one, this girl came up and sang. She was phenomenal. She sang, "I want a hippopotamus for Christmas. I want a hippopotamus for Christmas." Just like you'd expect next to the Away in the Manger. Again, I'm not poo-pooing secular Christmas music. It's phenomenal. I love Christmas music. I love Christmas time. But it's a show. It's a show like you would see in a theater, not in a church. But this girl, by the way, that's saying, "I want a hippopotamus for Christmas," she was like, what? I don't even know how old she is. Maybe 10? Just maybe 12. I don't know. But she was phenomenal. Like, she's great. They were all great. Then they sang some medleys. They did some other things like that. And then eventually they did get to Noel, and then the little drummer boy was amazing. Again, that doesn't have anything to do with, the actual story of the nativity. It's just a secular song that is really cool, and I like it. And they did an awesome job producing it. There was lights and that 5 drummers, and they were all great. And young guys too. It was good. And there were dancers involved, like you will have, in a big church. And then there's, some, again, just amazing soloists. And then there's an intermission. And then finally in Act 2, which is much shorter, obviously, like most Act 2s, you actually get to the story where you start out in Bethlehem, and you see Mary, and you see, the story develop. She finds out she's going to Mary and Joseph are finding out, and they're excited, and they're going to have a baby, and it's going to be called Jesus, and we know this part of it, and so that part of it is pretty accurate. They had Mary Did You Know song in there, which is a great song. I do love that song, particularly the Kenny Rogers version. But again, it's a show. It's not a sanctuary. At that point, it's just a show. And you could see it in any theater. And then they get to, they do sing "Oh Holy Night," and that dude his name's Cameron Smith. Amazing, and a great version of that song. And then you close out with "Joy to the World." It's a big show. It does go on. It's very well produced. It was phenomenal. It's something that my mother-in-law very much enjoyed. I did enjoy it, but I was sitting there. I think everybody enjoyed it, and because it's a spectacle. But the thing is like, like with the 3 kings, right? Or the wise men, 3 wise men. The song is "We Three Kings," so there's 3 of them, and they show up. This isn't the only issue. Like any of these secular songs are not necessarily true to the gospel. And like, for instance, if Mary and Joseph are still standing, I realize that there's, I can't do a set change. We can't explain that the wise men show up 3 years later. So they just do it in front of the maid. So now everybody in this audience except me or maybe else, who's, done the Bible in the ear thing and they know, or maybe they don't care. It's like the Bible, the wise men show up later. Like Jesus is walking around. He's a toddler. They give him these gifts. Herod goes into a fit. I'm going to kill all these kids, They make him aware of that. They go a different route back, and all of this. And it's like, but no, that you don't necessarily need to bring that into the Christmas tree, because the three kings or the three wise men, or were there more than three? We don't even know. And then, but in this story version, in the sanctuary of the Church of the Resurrection, in front of a multi-million-dollar stained glass window, which is gorgeous, with thousands of seats, $45 a piece. You can watch Jesus essentially be born. He goes to Bethlehem, Mary and Joseph, and then they go into the stable, and then they reappear, and now there's a real infant baby. And I mean, not that infant. I mean, let's not get crazy. I mean, it's a pretty big baby, but it's a baby, and it's glorious. And then the wise men show up, like it's the same night after the shepherds. All right. So we know that didn't happen. We know that chestnuts roasting over a fire is not part of the nativity story. We know that they're Christmas songs that we associate with the secular version of what Christmas is, and we celebrate the birth of Christ and all of that. And my big issue with this, where my worlds are colliding, is like, this is a great show that you could take on the road. This is the kind of show that Walt Disney would approve of when he was alive, that he would build Walt Disney Land for, that Americans would eat up. Not the Walt Disney of today, the corporation, whatever that is, but the Walt Disney that Walt Disney himself had intended to build, like kind of like old-fashioned values, good family entertainment, clean fun, and a safe place for people, for children, for those values to exist. But it's Disney World. It's a business. It's a Disneyland. It's a fantasy. The truth of the gospel isn't fantasy. And this was a fantastic show. And my question is, if we take liberty with the gospel truth in the sanctuary of the bride of Christ, because that's what the modern audience of, here are my scare quotes, Christians demand. Are we sharing the gospel in the sanctuary, or are we just putting on a show? And if it's just a show, you can take as much liberty as you want. We do that all the time. I've had other episodes where we talk about the liberty taken with history and Netflix and all these other things. It's fine. You get the gist. You get the idea. It includes everybody. It makes people feel good. They don't have to change anything themselves. They don't have to do anything different. It's just entertainment. It's got a good message. It's got good family values. You feel good, and you should, because everybody loves Joy to the World. And this is well produced and beautiful singers and wonderful music. Great lighting, great effects, great costumes. Good, all of it's good. But if there's only one truth, and I believe there is, and that truth is God, if you alter that truth, is that not deception? I don't know. I mean, I think I do. I think it. I don't know. When it comes to religious things, I'm not a theologian. Just a dude, a bald guy in a Norwegian sweater with a scally cap sitting in a gigantic church that I do enjoy attending when I'm in Kansas City because the fantastic speculative value is something that is unseen anywhere that I'm familiar with. But my worlds are colliding. And I don't think you have to have a church of 25,000 people. It's great if you do. And all kinds of programs. You can have a church of less than 100 people and be focused on programs and the next big thing and competition and why this other church sucks and why our church is right and why this church is wrong. And there are churches that are wrong. And I'm not sure this holiday season if what we're doing is right. I think it should be a lot simpler. A lot simpler to share the gospel and the good news. It's the same thing. So as we go into this season celebrating the real birth of Jesus Christ, our Savior, I can't wait to have more conversations, not necessarily about this. And look, I'd see that show again. They're just good singers. But I've seen lots of shows more than once. It's not worship. Okay, don't confuse the two. And it's easy to do because it's just not entertaining enough. And you feel like you're doing the story right by identifying with modern culture and secular culture and speaking the language and doing what you think is modern politics or whatever is happening in church. And I tell you what, the church doesn't change, shouldn't change. There's no obligation to bend to secular society. In fact, I think that is why the church is failing. Not because they don't have the right programs or the right message, or, well, that they don't have the right message, but because they're trying to be of this world instead of having people cry out for something and attend that which is not of this world. In it, but not of it. Anyway, that's my wrap up. That's what I've been thinking about for the last couple of weeks. I've been in touch with some different people, wonderful people of faith, as we get ready to launch once again its own version of the Bible in a year. I just wanted to take a little bit of a break, prepare for the coming of my grandson. And I got to tell you, after just attending my first baby shower, friends, like an hour before, maybe 2 hours by the time the show got to that point, and then watching their wonderful Mary and Joseph and this baby, this live infant baby, Jesus, standing in front of the creche, the manger or whatever, accepting the gifts from the 3 and only 3 wise men / kings, according to the song. I was like, man, talk about a baby shower. And that's what it was. That's my, I don't know. Is that a wicked take? I don't want it to be a wicked take. I want you to love Christmas. I want you to love Jesus Christ. And I want you to continue to go out, do great things, be of service, and be the Sunnyside of someone else's life. Happy birthday, Denny.
When the shadows fall and doubts begin to creep, remember together we're strong, never weak. Lift your neighbor up with kindness every day. Let your actions speak the words you want to say.
The Sunny Side of Life is a weekly production about our life on the family farmstead here in Iowa, the liberties we prize, and the pursuits which make us happy. None of this is possible, of course, without Christ in our lives. For the Lord God is our sun and our shield. He gives us grace and glory.
Be the sunny side of someone else's life. Share your light and joy through struggle and strife. Keep your heart open and your soul always bright. Together we will share this sunny side life. Be the sunny side of someone else's life. Share your light and joy through struggle and strife. Keep your heart open and your soul always bright. Together we will share this sunny side life.
May the Lord bless you and keep you, and may the sunny side of your life in Christ be made evident unto you each and every day, and give you peace. Hello, friends and neighbors. Welcome to the Sunny Side of Life Bible in a Year experience. Join me each day as I read the Bible from start to finish. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. These are the instructions for the guilt offering. If you fully obey the Lord your God and carefully keep all his commands that I am giving you today, the Lord your God will set you high above all the nations of the world. Do you really think these men are coming here to honor your father? No. Fire flashed down from heaven and burned up the burnt offerings and sacrifices. Listen to me, you who have understanding. Everyone knows that God doesn't sin. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. He tore his clothes and put on burlap and went into the temple of the Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord says to Israel. How long, O Lord, must I call for help? The Word was with God, and the Word was God. But by Jesus Christ himself and by God the Father, who raised Jesus from the dead, he who is the faithful witness to all these things says, yes, I am coming soon. Amen. Come, Lord Jesus. May the grace of the Lord Jesus be with God's holy people. Its own podcast, January 1st through December 31st. Every year, the Sunny Side of Life Bible in a Year experience. For free from Sunnyside Farm Studios. I pray this daily reading will bless you as much as it does me. So let's get started.